Quick question. You won the Super Bowl here, playing with the Kansas City Chiefs. Just touching on that experience as far as being able to come back to the city where you were able to win a championship, and how much do you feel like you'll be able to contribute to the Dolphins winning a Super Bowl?
Yeah, that's always the end goal. Anytime you put in the work in the off season, individually and with your team in OTAs, training camp, and things like that, that's always the end goal. So I'm excited when I first pulled up and saw the stadium. It just brings back that excitement. I think the last game I played in here was that game, so it just gives you that reminder and those feelings and that excitement. So that's something that everybody chases in the off season is to get to that game and win it and hold up that trophy. So I'm excited to meet everybody here and start that journey for that goal.
Thank
Daniel?
Hey Kendall, this is Daniel Oyefusi from the Miami Herald, also a fellow Baltimore native. So welcome to South
Okay.
Florida.
Yes, sir. Appreciate that.
I most definitely. When looking into your background, I found it interesting that you kind of made your mark as a slot corner in the nickel, and then you transitioned to an outside corner, and you've been very successful in both. I was curious just how that came about, and at this point in your career, do you think that that's something that you'd be able to do in Miami? Whether it's moving back inside or just kind of part time in it on both positions.
Yeah, when I came in as a rookie, we had just signed Josh Norman. We had Bashad Breeland, who was a top corner and playing really well. So my best opportunity to get on the field was to play nickel. And my second year, I had a really good year at the nickel specifically. Had a good year in my third and fourth year, but specifically my second year. And I think, any guy that kind of starts having success at a nickel position, a lot of people start putting limitations on them, saying that they can't play outside. And for me, I always loved corner. And going into my contract year that year, my second contract, I wanted to move back outside. I felt like I had a lot to show, things that I can do and I could offer on the outside. But at the end of the day, I've always enjoyed just being a football player, being able to line up in different positions and do a lot of different things. I think it makes the game a little bit more fun just to be able to change it up and do different things, not just doing or having one responsibility year in and year out. So I definitely enjoy playing either one, and even in Kansas City a little bit, I play some safety. So I think I definitely had that motivation just to show that I can be a top guy outside, but also can play all over the field.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Perk?
Hey, Kendall, Chris Perkins from the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Welcome.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Hey, I got two questions for you. Number one, dealing with expectations. This team has Super Bowl expectations. How do you deal with, I don't want to say the heaviness of that, but the reality of that, going to the playoffs isn't good enough. They expect to go all the way. Does that weigh on you? Do you think about that?
No, I mean that's why you play the game. Me these last 4 years not being able to really compete, to play for a Super Bowl, not being in the playoffs, making a run at it after being in Kansas City for those 2 years, making it to the AFC Championship and winning the Super Bowl. I don't look at that as added pressure. That's why you play the game. You want to play meaningful games at the end of the year. So that's why you compete. That's why you put all the hard work in. So I've always kind of thought of it as literally it's just like all the work that you put in, you want it to mean something and you want it to count, which ultimately the only way it's going to mean something or count is if you're holding that trophy at the end of the season. So I think anytime that's your expectation and that's why you want to play the game, I don't look at it as added pressure or any type of heaviness.
And my other question is on a different topic, is on Mike McDaniel. I know that players, opportunity and money are usually the reasons you go somewhere. Here, there's no state income tax. What was Mike McDaniel's role in you coming here? And can you tell me about your first meeting or interaction with him if you've had one?
Um, I had a brief interaction with him just walking over here, just dapping him up. But haven't talked to him too much. I talked to Chris, and he was kind of just echoing just how much Mike just respected my game and things like that. So I'm excited to just to get to know all the coaches, get around them, pick their brains, and build those relationships and get to work.
Thank you.
Yep.
Joe Shad.
Hey, Kendall, it's Joe Shad from the Palm Beach Post. Good to see you.
Yep. Me
Couple
too.
couple of years ago, I met your brother Kyle at ACC Media Days, and he warned me that he had a younger brother who was better than him. So I just looked it up. He's got 19 NFL picks. Do you know how many you have?
I'm probably what 15, 16?
16, yeah. So how is this going to end up?
I mean, it's definitely going to end up with me having more. But Kyle's been a tremendous role model for me, somebody that I've always relied on ever since I got to college. So even just in terms of my off seasons, kind of following his routine, his plan, studying his tape and things like that. So, all of my brothers, my parents are the reason why I'm the player I am today. So I always have a high and a tremendous amount of respect for them.
And obviously, Jalen Ramsey is here. What do you think of his game, and how do you think your game can complement his strengths?
Yeah, like I said, I got a lot of respect for Jalen. Me and Jalen came out of high school the same year, both highly recruited, came out of college together. And I think anybody that can play at such a high level for so many years, I have a lot of respect for them and having a lot of respect for him because, he's been one of the best guys in the league ever since he came in. And one for guys to be able to play in the league at this position for that long is already commendable and respectable. But to be able to do it at a high level for over so many years is that's tough to do. So I'm excited just to get around him again and just learn. I told the coaches here I try to take little bits and learn things from everybody I'm around. So I'm excited to do that.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Hal.
Hi, Kendall. Hal Habib from the Palm Beach Post. Good to meet you.
Yes, sir. You too.
A minute ago, you were talking about Jaylen, primarily, in terms of on the field. Do you know him that well off the field, and what are your impressions of him as a person?
I mean, mainly just from afar. But Jalen's always been one of those guys that, even from guys that I know that have been around him, closer to him, just always been a good guy, competitive, fun guy. So, like I said, mainly from afar. But I'm excited just to get around him. Uh, just gain more of a personal relationship with him and work with him and put in the time together in the facility.
If I could ask you one other thing before I let you go here. Obviously, you hit the highest of highs winning the Super Bowl down here. And then you had those years that we talked about in Washington. How frustrating was that for you, team-wise, individually, to go through that, having known, what it's like to hit the peak?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, every year you put in so much work. And anytime you don't even have a chance to contend and you're not in the playoffs with a chance to compete for the Super Bowl, it's always tough because you realize the amount of hours that you spend in the off season to put yourself in those positions, and when you don't, it's always tough. So I mean, I always thought of it as just you always self-reflect. You always see where you could have been better, the things that you need to improve in to improve your team's chances of getting there. And same thing I'm gonna do this offseason is always self-reflecting, always critiquing myself, seeing where I can be better and seeing what I can do to help our team win games.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, we'll give last question to Perk.
Hey, Kendall, Chris Perkins from the South Florida Sentinel once again. I just wanted to circle back on something. Are you definitely going to play a boundary here? Or is there a chance you play some slot?
I am not sure, to be honest. I think, the coaches, they'll probably still decide that, as they go, just looking to see where everybody's talent is. And, I think at the end of the day, they'll make the best decision for our defense.
Do you have a preference?
I like to play a little bit everywhere. Like I said, I think it adds more fun. Even having a guy like Jaylen, I know Jaylen has always moved around in his career and things like that. So I think genuinely there may be times to where you can see a number of different lineups, a number of people outside or inside and things like that. So like I said, I don't have too much of a preference. I like to do both. And like I said, it's fun when you can, in a way, dictate to the offense and give them different looks and different disguises and things like that.